Hello and welcome to what promises to be yet another thrilling instalment of action from Week 6 of Divisions 5F and 5G of the REL League. I'm your host, Kallisti Maya, the golden apple of Discord. Now, what a week it has been. So let's take a quick look at Week 6. We'll actually just move back to Week 6. There we go. Okay, so casting my mind back and also just taking a sneaky look at last week's episode. I managed to predict quite a few of these. So first match we had was the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia, and they were versus the Murderers Row. This one wasn't that hard to predict because Murderers Row are unbeaten, they're atop of the table, and I had predicted that Murderers Row were going to take this one as well. And I actually managed to predict the scoreline exactly. So Murderers Row won 2-1 over the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia. I had predicted that the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia, they were an unknown quantity. I thought they were going to possibly do well. And I think a 2-1 result with an underdeveloped team. They've only played one game before this. So they're playing catch up in a big way versus the strongest team right now in the division. I think getting a 2-1 win was an acceptable result. Moving on, we had Happy Go Go, the Goblin team, versus the Vampire team, the Sylvania Slayers. And I predicted this one as well, and the scoreline. So I predicted 2-0, and that's what it turned out to be. So 2-0 to Happy Go Go. The Goblins and their craziness were too much for the Sylvania Slayers. Next we had Rebel Rage Quit versus Gambler's Gals, and again I predicted the scoreline and the victor. So my prediction was based on the fact that the Rebel Rage Quit had an absolute slew of blockers with the tackle ability. The Gambler's Gals, the Amazon team, they live and die by their ability to dodge and the early advantage that gives them. They have dodge right from the outset on every player. And it's a great skill to have. It's very easy to level up and get yourself Blodge or Rodge. But the biggest weakness is that they come up against a team with tackle en masse. So Dwarfs spring to mind as the greatest candidate. But also Chaos Dwarves as well, and they do tend to fall apart. So again, not the hardest prediction for me to make on who the eventual winner would be, but I did predict the scoreline as well. So it was a 2-0 win for Rebel Rage Quit. Moving on, we had the Harlem Globetrotters version 2 versus the Kevlin Krakens. Now this was Dark Elf versus Norse. Now this is where my predictions started to go a little bit off track. So I predicted a 2-1 win for the Harlem Globetrotters. I think I placed a little bit too much faith in Dark Elves. Maybe I should have realised that the coaching ability of the Norse team and the fact that the Norse team has God knows how much block, and they have a decent movement allowance. Should have probably tipped me off that they might have won that one, and they did. They won that 2-1, so that was my strike against me for my predictions. Then we had the Oklahoma Sooners versus Lizard Matimbers. Now, if you remember, Lizard Matimbers, they've been in the league and in this division for one game, maybe two. Let's have a look. Were Lizard Timbers on week 4? No, so they just had the one game, and that was a very impressive game. One game against the Kevlin Krakens. They won that one 4-0. So week 6, my predictions last week, I had Lizard Timbers winning 3-1 over the Oklahoma Sooners. So not quite right on the scoreline, but I was right on the victor and the score margin. So they won by 2. Moving on, Thrashcan, the Nurgle team, was up against Mr. Christie's Fleeing Fun, the Halfling team. And I actually predicted the scoreline correctly, but the opposite way around. So I predicted Thrashcan to win this one 1-0. It turns out that the Halflings have a little bit more gumption and guts, and they managed to win 1-0. So that good on them. And then we had Raskin Bobbins versus Once Bitten, the other vampire team, and the other Nurgle team. And I predicted Raskin Bobbins to take that one 1-0, and it turned out to be a 0 draw. Now moving on, we're going to take a quick look at the teams. Just quickly go over development. So Flinging Fun hasn't seen much development. Sancho Carrot did end up picking up a level up, so that's good. But other than that, there's no other levels. Remember last week we had Lotho Cotton with the block skill. We had did we have Ponto Weatherby with a movement bust? I'm not sure. And then obviously Sancho Carrot probably got an MVP and then picked up another one in this last match and has leveled up. And then we have the Willow Long-Winded with that grab skill that he or she, I'm not sure whether Treeman or, well, Treeman, so he had last week. Doing fairly well. He's up to 14 players, sitting at 740 TV, so that's really quite TV efficient. 160k in the bank. We have one team reroll. Can easily, against most opponents, end up getting the Halfling Master Chef for 100k. So he's probably going to be ruling against those teams that really need their rerolls, because he's going to be stealing them all. Still hasn't got the Apothecary. Not sure he really needs it. Might want to pick it up for the emergency happens once in a lifetime injuries to the Treeman. But for the Halflings, they get injured, you just pick them up, throw them away, and move on to a new one. In fact, I'm surprised that he's kept Ponto Weatherby. Might be getting rid of that one before the next match. Only 30k, he already has a 10k TV difference. It's adding to his team value. Might as well spend 30k, get a nice fresh Halfling, and be have a full team with no stat busts. Moving on, we have Once Bitten, coached by Bud Tugley. So Once Bitten has, we have the leader skill on the Thrall that was there last week. We have block skill on another Thrall. We have a few that are, well, we have one that's actually Meatsack number 4 is very close to leveling. Might be nice to get another block or wrestle piece. Maybe even get kick. I keep on saying this. Some of you listen, some of you don't. Some of you are far more experienced and know better. Yeah, my recommendation would be to get kick on one of these thralls, probably this one when he levels. We have the 3 vampires, and they are all doing okay with leveling. We have one with blodge, we have the other 2 with block. Now that you have block on them all and you have one with blodge, I would start sort of getting some more interesting skills. Add a little bit more of ammunition to your playbook. Maybe you get one with strip ball. That'd be nice. At this stage of development for the teams in your division, there's probably going to be fewer teams with sure hands. You can get strip ball on one of these vampires, and then hypnotic gaze if the opposition's caged up. Hypnotic gaze with one of them. Move in there with your strip ball one, and then you're laughing because you've got a very high chance of managing to get the ball. Makes a great ball hawk. Other skills, maybe develop some tackle if the rest of the teams in the division are starting to rack up the dodge skill. That'd be a nice one. And of course, Mighty Blow. You can never go wrong with Mighty Blow. We're sitting at only 10k in the bank, so you've probably spent a bit of money on refreshing your team. I would start with picking up another vampire, so maybe start saving up. With 11 thralls, you're probably unlikely to experience, and 5 team rerolls, you're probably unlikely to experience issues with bloodlust really sort of beating you more than your opposition is. You can probably do quite well, even if you lost a few thralls in the next few matches, just saving up and getting that 110k, I believe, for your next vampire, and then you will be sitting pretty. Okay, moving on, we have Raskin Bobbins, coached by Shira. One of the Nurgle teams, one of the 2 Nurgle teams. Now, what I do like is that these 2 Nurgle teams, they actually have built it slightly differently. So this one, Raskin Bobbins, they have the Beast of Nurgle. I love the Beast of Nurgle on my Nurgle team. I don't really use it much. I just trundle it around and get based with like a 2 or 3 lower strength players, and then just watch them trying to struggle to get away from the tentacles. Occasionally I might sort of block with the beast, but more often than not I'm just using him as a piece to tie up lots of other pieces. Your Nurgle warriors are a little bit starved for development. You do have the one with 9 SVP, and it's probably due to that Mighty Blow. It's probably getting a lot of injuries for you. I would try, I know it's very, very slow development for your warriors, but I would try and get these other ones leveled up. And when you do, I would suggest block. It will help your development. It won't help your development at the speed of Mighty Blow, but it will help your development a little bit, so you can get to that next level a little bit faster. But it's also a lot safer. You could go guard, which would just make you really hard to deal with, but without block it's also slowing down your development, because you can't be making as many blocks, or you can, but you have a high chance of them failing and then suffering turnovers and losing matches. So my advice would be go block on these other 3. This one, as soon as he levels, get a block on him as well. Or maybe go block on 2 and go guard on the other ones, or Mighty Blow as you see fit. But definitely want to get block on some of these as a first skill, just to really sort of shore up your chances of not suffering turnovers. Rest of the team, we have 2 Pestigors. One's got Mighty Blow, one's got a Strength up. So with the one with the Strength up, French Vanilla, whenever he's blitzing, he's going to be Strength 5, so that's a lot of punch. And then we have the one with Mighty Blow, who's probably going to level quite quickly. I would definitely consider 80k getting another Pestigor, and making that one your ball carrier. Nurgle's a great team for being a killer team and really sort of a control team and inflicting the injuries. But if you're having difficulties picking up the ball, you're probably not going to be winning that many matches. So definitely get another Pestigor. This is my advice, would be to get another Pestigor, and then make that your ball carrying or agility, picking up, throwing, ball carrying Pestigor. I'm trying to think of a suitable term to cover all of that. And then you've got Kick on Chocolate Chip, which I think you had last week, and I love it. You are a little bit down in numbers. You only have 9 players on your team. you've got 120k in the bank. Rather than investing in the cheaper rotters, who you'll pick up when you get deaths anyway, they are your loners as well. I would invest in another Pestigore and just start building those up to 4 Pestigores, and that will really help your team develop and win matches. You've got 3 team rerolls, which is great, and as I said, 120k in the bank, so you can afford that Pestigore. Good luck. Thrushcan. So Thrushcan in the wonderful yellow colour scheme, and this is the Nurgle team without a beast, but he does have 3 Pestigores. They aren't developed, and he has gone for block on these 2 Nurgle warriors. So my advice for the other team, Raskin Bobbins, looks like he's going with that. He's gone for block on both of these Nurgle warriors. He has another Nurgle warrior that's close to developing. I would consider. Actually, I would consider Guard or Mighty Blow on that one that's close to leveling, and then Mighty Blow on that third one, Reactory. Yeah, just because he's going to be playing catch up. So give him Mighty Blow, have Guard on the other one, the one that's 5 SPP. Guard will just make these 2 block pieces really hard to take out if you use them in sort of tandem. Although taking Guard will slow Blood Feast's development down quite considerably. Once you get level up, yeah, it's a tough call, but I would consider taking Guard and just accept the fact that he's going to develop slowly, but you're going to make development for your other 2 pieces, other 3 pieces, that much faster. We have the Pestigores who, well, one's a pass away, or 1 SPP away from leveling. The other 2 are a touchdown away from leveling. Yeah, develop one as a killer piece, one as a support piece, and one as a ball carrier. And then you're laughing. And then we have 3 rotters. One is close to leveling. I would give him kick. Now, taking kick on a rotter is not going to. You're not going to get a blitz and then suddenly be able to, through the use of the kick skill, be able to rush in, pick up the ball. You're not a fast team, but taking the kick skill allows you to determine sort of which area of the pitch you're placing that ball in, and then set your defense accordingly so that you can sort of really pick your battles. So definitely I would take kick. It's not going to be as effective for you as it would be for more faster and more agility teams, but using the kick skill well will really sort of help you set up your defense properly and really sort of control the match, which is what Nurgle's all about. They're a control team at heart. Again, you have 130k, so these Nurgle teams, they've got a nice bank. I would definitely consider. Oh, actually, you've got a choice here. You can either save your money, one more match, and get yourself another reroll because you're at 2, or you can go for a Pestigore. Having thought about it, I would say go save your money and go for the reroll. If you'd have developed these Pestigores, they had levels, or 2 of them had levels, then I would be like, oh, maybe you go for a Pestigore because you can start developing that one. But because all 3 of them have yet to develop, you can take one match, maybe hopefully get sort of 2 of them leveled, or another one of your Nurgle warriors leveled. Get your team reroll, which will help considerably, and then just start the saving routine again and get yourself a Pestigore, your 4th Pestigore. Oklahoma Sooners, coached by J-Town Okie. So we have, for the Oklahoma Sooners, we have, we've got that movement up Blackhawk, which I don't like. I'm going to be honest, I don't like it. If it's working for you, great. But for me, I'm just seeing that as a TV bump, and it's actually crippling the development for that Blackhawk. He's not going to be developing nearly as fast as he could be. The other two of your Blackhawks, you have got block on, which is great. As soon as they level, and they are going to be leveling fairly soon, next match or two, hopefully, get guard on them. And then when they level again, get Mighty Blow. But for your Blackhawks, I think it's a lot more important to get the guard, block guard, and then you're just laughing because nobody wants to face a wall of Blackhawks that have block and guard, and you're never going to get more than a 1 dice on them. Well, you could, but you'd really have to try. We have the Troll with guard, which is great. You can sort of have him amongst your Blackhawks, acting as more of a roadblock, more of a big wall of green belligerence. And yeah, definitely guard on him was a good choice. You have your blitzer with tackle. You have another blitzer with tackle. That's great. You've got 2 tackle pieces. Not sure if this was a season on, you had a more developed orc team and you had these 2 blitzers with tackle, I'd be like, great, because by that time a lot of the teams you're facing have dodge, and probably I would imagine a fair few teams you're facing right now have dodge as well. But I think 1 tackle piece would be good. 2 might be a surplus to requirements right now, but it's good you have them. You have this 1 pom piece, which is great. Sure, and you look at him; he's already up to 20 out of 31 SPP, so you're getting a lot of injuries on him. Yeah, I definitely think that the development path you've chosen for these 3 blitzers is great. For this blitzer, I would definitely go for Mighty Blow, help him level up a bit faster. As soon as these blitzers level up, the 2 tackle pieces, again Mighty Blow, you can just really make them a really fearsome squad. And then guard. It's a bit boring, but facing an AV9 team where everybody has block, everybody has guard, and the blitzers can run moderately fast, they can reposition, they have Mighty Blow. You're taking the same skills every time, but it's very effective. We have a lineman with guard, which is great. That's a very nice skill up for a lineman. And you have this goblin who is still hanging around. He hasn't died yet, which is great. He was here last week, and he can be your sneaky surprise. You can do a sort of 1-turn touchdown with your goblin, if needs be, with the troll. It doesn't always work. In fact, often it fails spectacularly, but it's always there, good to have in your back pocket. Or you can use him as a fouling piece, which is probably what you're doing. Rebel Rage Quits. Okay. The Fearsome Chaos Dwarves. So I think you've moved your players around, which is great. I think last week I was reporting and you had 1 bull center up here, one bull center at the bottom of your list, 1 at the top, and it was momentarily confusing. But anyway, you looks like you have them both placed together, which I love you for. Thank you. And we have the Mad Hatter and Jack A-Hole, who both have taken block, so that makes them very solid pieces indeed. Obviously, if you get a double, then you can go for the dodge, and yeah, if you go dodge on one of them, make them a bludge piece, then you can go sure hands and make them a ball carrier, and then develop one as a killer piece, go mighty blow and go to town, maybe even tackle as well if you get the development that far. And then we have your blockers, and you're going your blockers and your Minotaur. You're going sort of well, the Minotaur already came with mighty blow, but you've got mighty blow on this blocker. You've got another one with block mighty blow and guard. Very standard choices. Obviously, you're waiting for a double on any of these blockers, so you can take claw. But no surprises here. It's very standard progression. I would think about maybe going guard on the first skill for one of these four, maybe a few of them actually, to really make your blockers this terrifying squad of wall of Dwarven Fury. And then we have the Minotaur, who's going great guns. He's 3 SPP away from his next level. He has guard already. And then you have your Hobgoblins, who are actually 2 of them are close to leveling, which is great. We actually have 3 close to leveling. This one gets a touchdown. Maybe do some passes with these 2, and you've got another 3 Hobgoblin levels. 2 team rerolls, 1 apothecary, 70k in the bank, 1360 team value, which is pretty average. Yeah, there's nothing for you to spend your money on, so I would just bank it and start saving for that 3rd reroll. That's if you don't obviously have any sort of key positional deaths or serious permanent stat busts. Happy go go, coached by Taco Truck. Okay. So last week I was talking about Lexi and how you were putting all of your eggs into one goblin-sized basket, a fragile goblin-sized basket. It looks like you're still doing that. You won your last match. Lexi's still alive. We have Anna, who has strip ball, which is great choice. You can dodge into those cages, do a blitz with your strip ball goblin, and there's still a relatively high chance that you're going to, even on a 2 red dice, still a relatively good chance you're going to be able to strip the ball. Definitely if he levels again and you get a double, I would go wrestle. That way he's an amazing bullhawk. We don't have any development on any of your secret weapon players. So the Looney, the Fanatic and the Bombardier are all starved for SPP. We do have a level and 10 SPP on Trina, your troll. Gone for break tackle, that's a good choice. And we have another one, Large Marge, who's on 4 of 6 SPP. I think there hasn't been any change for these 2 trolls since last week. There has been a change for Lexi though. Last week Lexi had just jump up, had got jump up and was closing in on another level. Looks like you're still doing pretty much everything with Lexi, because Lexi got another level up, and you've gone for sure hands. Good choice. And I think I also received a message from you just saying that Lexi had been just the crazy recipient of so many MVPs. So let's take a quick look. Yeah, oh look at that. So 6 games played and 5 times Lexi's been the MVP. That's why Lexi has so many levels. Okay, that makes sense. So 20 of your 31 SPP has been on from MVPs for this player. It's crazy. You're at 140k in the bank. I would start considering taking that, and I mentioned this last week, but I would start considering taking that apothecary. Just for Lexi. Lexi seems to be, the gods are willing that Lexi gets lots of levels. He's already on, or he or she is already on. Well, it must be a she, because everyone else is a she. So Lexi, she must be being willed by the gods to already get lots of levels, lots of SPP. So I would definitely invest in an apothecary, pretty much just for Lexi. And by some rare chance, either of your trolls manage to get injured and regen doesn't kick in. Anna, you can always build another strip baller. Oh, actually, that was a double. So maybe, get the apothecary for Lexi and Anna. Really Lexi, and maybe your trolls, but definitely might be worth investing that 50k in the apothecary. Other than that, you have a really good goblin team. You haven't got a lot of level ups on your other goblins, but that's fine. You're at 13 players? Yep, 13 players. So you don't need to buy any more. So I would definitely just invest in the apothecary, and then that's it. You're good to go. Kevland Krakens. We pillage your pitch, now we will pillage your ... I don't want to know what you're going to pillage, Oasis. Keep that to yourself. Alright, so let's have a look at the Kevland Krakens. They won this week, or week 6. And we still have the Berserker with Stand Firm. We have a runner with Sure Hands, so that's going to be a ball carrier. Not sure if that's a new level. The lineman with Frenzy, I think, was there last week. We have another runner with Jump Up. I've got a feeling one of these two is a new level. I could be wrong. And then we have one lineman that's out. Let's see what's ailing him. So it's just a miss next game. That's good. So you're going to have one loner for your next match, but it's to replace a lineman that is basically the same thing. So you're fine there. You only have 60k in the bank, so I would probably not bother investing that in another lineman. I would just save your money, and next week I would just save that and save up for... Do you need another Ulf? Yeah, save up for another Ulf. And then you get a little bit more strength 4 on your team. Other than that, doing good. A little bit stunted in development. Would like by this stage to see a little bit more development on your team, but you're doing okay. You're doing okay. Murderous Row. The division leaders, the Doc M, Necromantic team, proving that Necromantic don't have to be a slow to start team. So we have Elizabeth, Rathery. I think that's probably a famous murderer. With Mighty Blow. We have Albert Squish with Block. And both of these werewolves obviously are seeing a lot of action. We have one on 9 SPP, one on 10. So you probably just need to get some more casualties in if that's the route you're going with them, or maybe give them a touchdown or two and then get them leveled up. The faster you can level your werewolves, the more scary you are. We have a white Snarls Manson. Oh, a little bit of play on words there. Okay, so yeah, Snarls Manson instead of Charles Manson, I suppose, has guard. Good choice. And then we have, well, yeah, the two flesh golems. If you merge them together, they'd be a blodge piece. So one has dodge, one has block. Soon as this one levels, does he have general access? He does. As soon as he levels, give him block, and then he's just this immovable lump. This one, I would probably think about Mighty Blow. Or maybe Grab. Grab might be a good choice. For your ghoul, looks like this is a fresh ghoul. Let's have a look. Zodiac Killer. I think this is a new one. I haven't seen this one before, I don't think. So played in week 6. It was a new acquisition. And so yeah, you're probably going to get him a level and then give him block. Maybe wrestle, make him into a bullhawk. The problem with having ghouls as bullhawks or in their putting them in positions of danger is that they are the only player on your team that doesn't have regen, and you don't get an apothecary, so they get injuries, that's it, they're stuck with it. You don't really have an option to heal those injuries, get rid of them. So yeah, sure, develop him into a bullhawk, but just be a little bit careful with it. We have Gizzard Ramirez with guard. Great, that was a really nice level up. And then we have the Bloody Offenders with block. I think you're just missing a dirty player piece. Yeah. Maybe for Jeffrey Dishonor, get him dirty player, and then you've got another elements to your game plan there. Another way of really sort of winning the attrition war. Otherwise, well, you're top of the division, so obviously you're doing well. You have 3 team rerolls, 80k in the bank, 310 team value, so you're actually lower than a lot of the teams that you're facing right now. So you're doing great. You're doing great. Moving on, next page. Sylvania Slayers. Sylvania Slayers have the 3 vampires, all with block. This one has got an injury. Well, he's had it for a little while. Let's have a look. Niggling injury. I've got a feeling that's a new one, but I could be wrong. And let's see how they're doing for SPP. They're still, all 3 of them are still a ways off from leveling. You've also had a few injuries on your thralls. Not the biggest concern. But maybe something you just want to watch out for. If attrition starts taking its toll, you could suddenly find yourself down in thrall numbers, and then you're fighting an uphill battle to make sure that you're covered when the inevitable bloodlust happens. You do have 5 team rerolls, so I think you're fairly safe on that front. But my advice would be just to keep an eye on that. Then we have 1 thrall with leader, and then we have another one with dodge. So Handsome Tim could develop into a quite nice player. And 70k in the bank, 1210 team value. Yeah, you're doing okay. You have it in you to win matches. I would just really start utilising these vampires. Always be using hypnotic gaze when and where you can. It's can do marvelous things for you. Maybe use them in tandem. So use hypnotic gaze with this one, go in, hypnotic gaze, a cage corner, go in and blitz with this one, and then go pick up the ball with this one, and you're away. I know that's a suggestion. I'm not sure if it would work out, but that's just maybe a suggestion. How using them all three of them in tandem can make them really pretty damn scary. Gambler's Gals, the Amazon team. Let's see how they're doing. Now, I just played in a tournament, Oh the Humanity tournament, and it was only human-based teams, and it was custom teams, so you could build your teams up to 1250 TV. And I took Amazons, and I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to do amazingly with the Amazons. I had lots of line women that had taken either Blodge or Rojon. I had catcher with sidestep, and I had two blitzers that were crazy mighty blow, Blodge, tackle, frenzy, and juggernaut. And I got crushed. So maybe Amazon teams aren't the team for me. Maybe it was just an unlucky game. But anyway, I have a newfound respect for Amazon coaches. I was thinking it was going to be sort of the easy road, but it didn't turn out that way. So anyway, looking at Gamba's Gals, coached by Gamba. They're his gals. We have Killer K, who has Large Mighty Blow, who's a blitzer. We have another blitzer, Rexa, who has Guard Mighty Blow. We then have a third blitzer with an agility up, so that's a nice piece. And then our fourth blitzer only has 2 SPP, so maybe start developing that one. I'm sure you already are trying to. Maybe it's even a new piece. Let's take a quick look. No, 6 matches, just haven't been using her. That's the problem with when you have like a lot of the same pieces. You start getting levels on one of those pieces, and then suddenly you start relying on that piece because it has the skills that that you need at the time, and then the other pieces sort of fall by the wayside. So when and where you can, just maybe try and get some development on Jenks. Then we have a catcher who's now Blodge. Another catcher that's out right now. Let's take a quick look. It's just submits next game, so that's fine. And then we have a thrower who is a touchdown away, or 3 passes away from leveling. And then we have Blackburn Sensei, who last week I saw had the strength up. Still has the strength up. Yeah, definitely want to try and get some a level on, at least a level on Blackburn Sensei, and give her block or wrestle. And then you have the rest of your linemen who are underdeveloped or undeveloped. Sitting at 11 players on your team, you only have 30k in the bank, so you probably refresh some of these players. 1140 team value, so you might be getting inducements in your next match. We'll have a look in a second. Then we have the 3 team rerolls, Apothecary. This is a good squad. Just need to get some key pieces leveled, and you'll be fine. We've got lots of AI teams. So Bavarian Hopscotch Mafia. Okay, so now 2 games played, 1-1, lost 1. The one they lost was against the division leaders, so not entirely unexpected. Let's see how they're doing. We have a catcher with block. I'm not a big Kislev or Slang coach, but I might have gone dodge rather than block on that one. But anyway, we also have another one with guard, lineman with guard, and we also have another catcher with block. So it seems to be that you like block on your catchers. Cool. For 2 games played, you're doing pretty well. You have some nice development on your team. You have 4 team rerolls, which is great for dealing with those inevitable leap failures. You have an apothecary. You've invested in a cheerleader and a coach assistant, so that might work out for you. It might not. It's only 20k though, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. You're still probably facing a lot of teams and getting inducements, so that would be nice. Yeah, good team, good coach from what I've seen so far. Lisbon Timbers. Okay, so this is another team that started 2 weeks ago, and Lisbon team, but also pirate themed. We've got Barbosa, Captain Flint, Charles Vane, Francis Drake, Captain Morgan, Calico Jack, Anne Bonny, Long John Silver, Billy Bones, Ben Hornigold. There are a lot of characters from Treasure Island mixed with a few real pirates. Francis Drake, and then Barbosa, I think, was a real pirate. Maybe it's just Barbosa from the Disney pirate movie franchise with Johnny Depp. I don't know. Anyway, but a lot of those are actually real pirates. Anyway, so 2 games played. You've got block on 2 of your Sauruses, which is great. We also have this one, Charles Vane has now only 6 SPP away from his 2nd level, which is great. Development wise, for your skinks, you have 9 SPP on Long John Silver. The other 3 are a touchdown away from leveling, so that would be good. I often think one of the big drawbacks for the Lizardman team, they are a very cool team. I like playing them, but one of the big drawbacks is that you can get SPP so quickly on your skinks, but they only have normal access to agility skills. And then the pieces that you really want to start getting level ups on are your Sauruses, and it takes a little bit longer with them. So good to see you've got 2 levels on your Saurus. Sure, it's not going to be a problem for you to get levels on your skinks, so maybe just try and dedicate where you can SVP so that your other Saurus level as quickly as possible. You have 3 team rerolls, so you went that route at the sacrificing your chance to get a Croxagore, probably aiming to save up and get your Croxagore as soon as you can, because it's a good piece. He's a good big guy for a change. Doing well. You've won both games you've played so far since joining the division. Probably going to go on to do great things. And then the last team in Division 5F is the Harlem Globetrotters version 2. Again, 2 games played, lost 1, won 1, and we still have 0 development on this team. Oh no, you actually lost 2 games. You've lost both games you've played. Yeah, 0 development on this team. It's still waiting to evolve. All your players on your team are just sitting and waiting and hoping that they are going to be the lucky one to get an MVP or even a touchdown and level. So you're at 1000 TV, no development on your team, 2 team rerolls, no apothecary. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. There's not much I can spotlight on your team because there's nothing happened with it. Okay. So let's take a quick look at the leaderboards, and then that'll be it for Division 5F. So we have top of the charts, no surprise, the Doc M with Murderer's Row. Then we have Rebel Rage Quits, coached by Arabi at 411. The Kevlin Krakens. This is a bit of a surprise to me. I wasn't sure that they were doing that as well as they are doing. So Oasis, you're doing great. You have 4 wins and 2 losses. Then we have the Noble team, Raskin Bobbins, coached by Shira, with 3-2-1. The Oklahoma Sooners, the York team, 3-1-2. Once Bitten, coached by Bud Tugley, at 2-3-1. Gambas Gals, the Amazon team, at 3-0-3. Then we have Flingin' Fun, who got a win last week at 2-1-3. For a stunty team, that's great results. Same thing for Happy Happy Go Go, coached by Taco Truck, the Goblin team, at 2-1-3. Sylvania Slayers, the other vampire team, at 2-1-3 as well. And Thrashcan at 2-1-3, the other Noble team. So there's a lot of you that are on exactly the same points right now at 2-1-3 record. Hopefully this week is going to break some of you out and push you up. And then we have Elizabeth Timbers, who has a 2-0-4. Those 4 losses were from the AI team. This team came in late. So they're still 12th on the leaderboard, but Dwiggs has been doing well. He's won both games he's played so far. And then the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia made an impressive entrance, won their first game, lost their second one against the division leaders. So I expect him to do well next game. And then rounding up the division, we have the Harlem Globetrotters version 2, coached by Not So Clever, who has one draw and 5 losses. So I think this season might be a little bit of a wash for you. Not So Clever. I would probably focus on just trying to build your team and maybe having a half decent team for next season. I think a shot at the playoffs is probably not on the cards for you. Okay, and then looking ahead to this week, we have no games played yet. I'm recording on Thursday, so not surprisingly you haven't played any games yet. But week 7, we have Happy Happy Go Go versus the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia. I'm going to pick the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia for this one, and I'm going to predict 3-0. No, 2-0. 2-0 for the Siberian Hopscotch Mafia. I think they're just going to be all over the Goblin team and just overwhelm them. Murderous Row versus Rebel Rage Quit. This is going to be a big game. Rebel Rage Quit is in 2nd place, Murderous Row is in 1st. Yeah, I'm going to pick... I'm going to pick Murderous Row, but it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a 2-1 win for Murderous Row. Sylvania Slayers versus the Harlem Globetrotters, version 2. I'm going to pick the Sylvania Slayers for this one. I'm going to pick the 1-0 win. Gambas Gals versus the Oklahoma Sooners. I'm going to pick a 1-1 draw. The Kevlin Krakens. We have the Kevlin Krakens, the Norse team, versus Thrashcan, the Noble team. I think the Kevlin Krakens are going to win this one, unless it's an absolute AV7 crumble match. I think they're going to win this one 2-0. Lisbon Timbers versus Raskin Bobbins. I think Lisbon Timbers is going to win this one, and I think they're going to win it fairly impressively. I don't think Raskin Bobbins has much in the tank to deal with the Skinks. I think that they don't have, as far as I remember, they don't have tackle. The Skinks can easily outrun them. The Lizardmen, also the Sauruses, can outpace them as well. And they've got 6 of them. I think this is going to be another win for Lisbon Timbers. And then finally we have Fliggin' Fun versus Once Bitten. I think this is going to be a win for... I think this is going to be a win for Flinging Fun. I think they're going to win it 1-0. And that concludes our coverage for Division 5F. Welcome, coaches of Division 5G. Now it's time for your turn in the spotlights. Let's go and see how you shined or not so much in Week 6. So let's take a quick look at the matches that were played in Week 6. The first match we had was the human team, the Austin Knights, and they were going up against the very fearsome Scooby and the gang. Don't let the name fool you. They're one of the top teams in this division, and they're a pretty hardcore necromantic team. So I think the Austin Knights were pretty much up against it because they haven't been performing as well as they would have hoped, and probably haven't not seeing the development they wanted. So they're probably going into this game feeling very much between a rock and a hard place, and the scoreline shows that as well. They did. Scooby and the gang did walk away with a 2-0 win. Let's take a quick look at the stats for the game. So on the face of it, we had 6 armor breaks versus 14 armor breaks for Scooby and the gang. 2 touchdowns, obviously, and then we had also had Scooby and the gang getting an expulsion. So they were probably doing a little bit of naughtiness, a little bit of foul play, and got caught at least once. Now, if we look at take a deeper look into the stats, we have 12% ball possession for the Austin Knights versus 56 for Scooby and the gang. Strangely enough, the blocks succeeded were pretty even. They were throwing just as many blocks, almost 39 versus 36. We had 1 knockout and 2 injuries inflicted for the Austin Knights versus 3 and 3 for the Scooby and the gang. So they're a little bit more effective at getting those injuries in. Might be partly down to the werewolves with their claw. It might also be down to just a little bit more development. Probably a few more players with Mighty Blow and piling on. We're going to take a look at the teams in a little bit, so we'll be able to see right there and then what the difference maker was. But definitely Scooby and the gang got the better of this encounter. Then we had the Lizard Techers versus the Holy Grails. This was a 2-0 win for the Lizard Techers. And again, the Lizard Techers are another team that's pretty much at the top of the leaderboard for Division 5G. Very scary Lizardman team, and they were facing a almost virgin Bretonian team. The Holy Grails joined last week, so week number 5, I believe. So they probably haven't seen much development. They're going up against probably one of the 4 front runners for the division, a Lizardman team no less. The Holy Grails, a Bretonian team, they do have the blitzers with Dauntless, so that might have helped a bit, but they still failed to rise to the challenge. No matter how great it was a little bit too much for them, and they lost 2-0 to the Lizard Techers. Let's take a quick look at the game stats. Oh, there we go. So we have a concede from the Holy Grails, but they did have some action. So they got a death, and they got 3 armor breaks versus 14 armor breaks, but they did get a concede. So it doesn't look like anything happened. Like nobody scored. It just they got the 2-0 win from the concede. Let's take a closer look to see if we can see anything else on the stats here. No, this is interesting. So we have 40% ball possession for the Lizard Techers. So looks like they started the drive with the ball. So it was their offense, and then we had 10% ball possession for the Holy Grails. We had 37 blocks succeeded versus 19 for the Holy Grails. We had 5 KOs inflicted, 2 injuries inflicted, and only 1 KO inflicted for the Holy Grail. So they were a little bit outmatched, but I'm not seeing that death anywhere. So it looks like that death might have been a self-inflicted death, or maybe it might have been a bit more dirty play, a little bit more of somebody putting the boot in. I'm not sure if the concede was intentional or if it was just disconnect. We'll have to talk to the coaches to find out. Not seeing anything that's particularly giving it away right here. So we have the MVP is Clack. We have another MVP because it's a concede for Rex. Then we have the 2 injuries for Tapper and Bopper, and then we have Skeeter with a touchdown. Interesting. Or maybe it was one of these 2 5s was and a touchdown and an injury. I'm not sure. But anyway, the Lizardtakers won, and the Holy Grails conceded. I'm not sure if it's intentional or not. Okay, so then we had the Farm Animals scraping out a 1-1 draw against the Cheetahs and Such. The Farm Animals are a Chaos team. Cheetahs and Such are Goblins, I believe. Yes. Oh, look at this. So Cheetahs and Such, they lucked out. They got the MVP on one of their trolls. I think his name is Bellyguff or Bellygut. And then for the MVP for the Chaos team was the Chicken, a Beastman. And that's all he's got so far. Let's have a quick look at the overview for the stats. So a touchdown apiece, 9 armor breaks versus 4 armor breaks. Looks like they're both teams were a little bit pillow-fisted. 3 expulsions for Cheetahs and Such. Well, it's in their name. It's in their team name, Cheetahs and Such. So you've got to expect, and it's Goblins, you've got to expect some a little bit of naughtiness coming out of the Goblin team. Let's take a look at the more hardcore stats. And so we have 25% ball possession for the Farm Animals. Cheetahs and Such, looks like they got hold of the ball and just kept hold of it. Didn't do much with it because they only scored 1 touchdown, but looks like they just got the ball, kept hold of it, didn't do much with it, and sort of held out for a draw. So we have 41 blocks succeeded for the Chaos team versus 35 for the Cheetahs and Such. We have 6 KOs for Farm Animals, 1 KO, 1 injury for the Cheetahs and Such. 74 yards running, which is in line with their ball possession. And 37% occupation in own half for the Cheetahs and Such versus 18% in the opponent's half means that yes, they were just holding on to the ball in their own half and not making much progress. I think that the Farm Animals might have been a little bit stunted in their injury and attrition game, probably because they don't have much, if any, tackle on their team. And pretty much the entire team on the Goblins side, Cheetahs and Such, they all have dodge, so that probably would have had an effect. Okay, moving on. So we have Weechilin versus Thunderstrike. That ended in a 2-0 win for Weechilin, the Dark Elf team. Now, last week when I did this recap, Weechilin was at the top of the table. I know that there were a few other games to be played, and I think this game had been played. So I think that Weechilin was sitting at the top of the table just due to the fact that they actually played this week 6 game and a lot of the other teams hadn't. So that's a good win. Dark Elves proving their elven superiority over the Chaos Dwarf team, Thunderstrike. So let's take a quick look at the stats. So 2 touchdowns and 6 armor breaks for Weechilin. Nothing touchdown wise, scoring wise, but 10 armor breaks for the Chaos Dwarves and 1 expulsion. So this really does sort of fit in with racial stereotypes. So yeah, we have the Dark Elves. They're going to be a little bit more able to score a little bit more easily, but they're not getting as many armor breaks. The Thunderstrike, yes, they're playing their role well as a Chaos Dwarf team. They're getting the armor breaks in. They've got the Hobgoblins, who are probably where that expulsion comes in, but they don't seem to be converting their attrition and their bashing into scoring at all. So that's something that maybe Thunderstrike's coach might want to sort of start working on. To add insult to injury, the MVP for the Chaos Dwarf team was a loner, so not sure, and it was a movement busted loner as well, so I'm not sure if he's going to be picked up, but I wouldn't. If I was the Chaos Dwarf coach, I probably would say, oh well, and put it down as a loss for the MVP SVP there. But Weetilin, you did well. You got MVP on a lineman who's now up to 8 SPP, I think that says. And let's take a quick look at the deeper stats. So yep, Weetilin pretty much owned this game. They had 62% ball possession, 45 blocks succeeded versus 57 for Thunderstrike, so they did lose out on that area, but it doesn't seem to have impacted their ability to win the game. But they did get the all of the KOs and injuries. 1 and 1 for KOs and injuries for Weetilin versus Thunderstrike's nothing. So it looks like Thunderstrike were a little bit unlucky there. I mean, they had 6% ball possession, so they really weren't doing much to win the game, but they didn't get any of these successful blocks converting into injuries for them at all. So that's a little bit unfortunate for them. Yep, just one of those games, I suppose. Next we have Mount the Tetons versus the Big Bad Baby Eaters. Actually, I think we missed one. These Violent Delights versus Castlevania Creeps. Sorry guys, I think I missed one there. So yeah, these Violent Delights won 2-1 over the Castlevania Creeps. And that's an Amazon team versus a Vampire team. And I think they're 2 previous Rebel coaches. I think these Violent Delights were Rodog, and Castlevania Creeps is SFG Sam or Vapor Gecko, which is his coach name. So yeah, these Violent Delights, they are a good team. They're probably close to the top of the leaderboard. Amazon team is always a strong team to start off with. It looks like they're still converting that head start, if you will, into wins even now. So a lot of that's probably got to do with coaching ability, not just the fact that the Amazon team are dirty rotten cheaters with all that dodge. So yeah, they won 2-1, 2-1 grind, and they have 13 armor breaks for these Violent Delights versus 9 for Castlevania Creeps. Castlevania Creeps did get a pass in, but just the 1 touchdown. As far as MVPs go, well, Teddy on these Violent Delights, the line woman, she got the MVP. She's now up to 9 SPP, so she leveled. And then for the Castlevania Creeps, Thrall got the MVP and he's up to 5. So probably not the ideal MVP candidate for either team. But these Violent Delights definitely got the better of the MVP side of things as well, because it got a level out of it. Let's take a quick look at the deeper stats. So 43 ball possession versus 43% for these Violent Delights ball possession versus 12% for the Castlevania Creeps. Not only does this say that these Violent Delights had the ball for close to half the time and the Castlevania Creeps didn't, but it also says what happened to the other 45% of the game. Was the ball just sitting on the ground, not being picked up by anyone? Not sure. Anyway, So yeah, these Violent Delights got the better of ball possession, they got the better of blocks succeeded, they got the best of the injuries. Although Castlevania Creeps did inflict 4 KOs, with that AV7 on the Amazon team, KOs can be quite frequent. Unfortunately, they didn't convert those into injuries, but did get 2 SPP out of injuries. And then running yards, yeah, they're very similar. And then the Castlevania Creeps just has that 6-yard pass, which is quite nice. In terms of SPP, so Teddy was a greedy BITCH. She got 8 SPP. Ed Harris got 5. Who was the MVP now? Was it Teddy? Okay, so Teddy got got the touchdown and MVP. Ed Harris got touchdown and injury, and then Armistice got an injury as well. For the Castlevania Creeps, we had Nathan Graves with the MVP. We had touchdown for John Morris, a injury. I suppose so. An injury for Eric Lecard, and then a pass for Grant Dynasty. Yep, that's probably got to be a little bit of a disappointing result for Vapor Gecko and the Castlevania Creeps, and a nice result for these Violent Delights. Mount the Tetons versus the Big Bad Baby Eaters. Mount the Tetons got the win. This is great. Big Bad Baby Eaters is a Chaos Dwarf team. Mount Tetons was Chaos, I believe. They got a 2-0 win. Oh no, Mount the Tetons, sorry. My apologies, Mount the Tetons. You're an Orc team, not a Chaos. Probably insulted you now. So Mount Tetons, the Orc team, they got the win, 2-0 win. Doesn't look like much was happening for the Big Bad Baby Eaters. They might have got a little bit diced. They did get 6 armor breaks versus 9 for Mount the Tetons. Mount the Tetons did get an expulsion, and they got 2 touchdowns. So definitely they got the better end of the deal there. They got the win. They also got a lot more stats, SPP. The MVP went to this Blitzer, who I can't read. I'm sorry, I just can't read that. But he's now at 27 of 31 SPP. And then a Hobgoblin. Again, I can't read it. I don't know why. Got an MVP for the Big Bad Baby Eaters. Now, let's have a look at the stats. So Mount the Tetons had 81% ball possession. That's crazy. So basically they got the ball, they said it's mine and you're not getting it, and just kept the ball for pretty much the entire game. I would imagine that the kickoff, whenever it was the Big Bad Baby Eaters drive, they got the kickoff, they picked it up, they got blitzed, they lost the ball, and then Mount the Tetons picked it up and said, nope, still mine. Blocks succeeded, it's pretty even. Same with KOs and injuries inflicted, it's pretty even. So it's just literally the ball possession is the tail of the tape there. It really points to why the Mount the Tetons won. The Orc teams are very strong. They're probably one of the best teams to start off with when you first start off with like a 1000 TV team. Chaos Dwarves, not so much. Skill level of the coaches definitely plays a big part, but race choices as well. I think that Chaos Dwarves, they take a while to develop. In fact, I know they take a while to develop. So if I was the Big Bad Baby Eaters coach, I wouldn't be taking this too badly. This first season is all about team development, and you'll find that the teams that take those painful losses in their first season are the teams that turn around and bite everyone in the arse season 2. So Definitely stick with the Chaos Dwarves. They can develop into one of the most scary teams out there, so definitely stick with them. They're a lot of fun once you get them developed. Let's take a look at the SPP. So we have Isogel Slobber, that's the name I couldn't read, and Paint Sniffer. Paint Sniffer, that's a good name. So Isogel Slobber got 9 SPP, that's a lot. And then we have Foggy Harbour Sunk and Marble Pine Ripper. Both got a touchdown, and then this Isogel Slobber got the 2 injuries and the MVP. Paint Sniffer just got an MVP, and then we have 2 injuries for Leaf Eater, or 1 injury for Leaf Eater, and then 1 injury SPP for Bloody Socks. Okay, Bioware for Life won 2-0 over the Dolgan Lions. So, looking at the stats, this was looks like a fairly even match on the face of it. Obviously, there was the 2 touchdowns that Bioware for Life scored, but we also have 15 armor breaks apiece. Dolgan Lions did get a death. And then Bioware for Life has a pass. Let's take a closer look at the stats. Relatively even ball possession as well. There's the pass. Block succeeded, a little bit in favour of the Dolgan Lions. But look at this, KOs and injuries. So out of the 36 blocks that succeeded, we had 5 KOs, 2 injuries and 1 kill inflicted. But for the Dolgan Lions, we had more blocks succeeded, but they only converted into 3 KOs, 1 injury. Yeah, that's definitely a very telling stat there. And then we have for the yards running and the yards passing, Bioware for Life owns that one as well. And Hero of Neverwinter, he's one of the vampires on this team, and he's just such an SPP hog. Probably leveling quite nicely. We'll take a closer look shortly. And then we had Commander Shepherd and Talia Vaz Normandy getting an injury as well. For the Dolgan Lions, we had Ziggy getting an injury, and then we had the MVP for Matt Praetor. So that covers the results for week 6. As we have a look ahead to week 7. Now we already had 1 game played, Mount the Tetons versus the Holy Grails. Take a very quick look at that just to see if they conceded that one as well. Nope, they didn't. Next week we'll take a closer look at this result. But now we have the Austin Knights versus the Farm Animals. So this is humans versus chaos. My prediction is going to be that the Austin Knights are going to take this. I think it's going to be a 1-0 win though. These Violent Delights versus the Lizard Techers. I'm going to pick the Lizard Techers to win this. I think that the Lizardman team, they've been doing well. I think that they're just going to be able to outmuscle and out-attrition the Amazon team, these Violent Delights. So I'm going to pick them for a 2-1 win. We Chillin versus Scooby and the Gang. This is probably going to be one of the highlight matches of this week. So We Chillin, very good, very competent Dark Elf team versus Scooby and the Gang, the scary necromantic team that seems to, both them and the Lizard Techers have very much impressed me with their positioning and their general sort of control of matches. I don't know. I'm going to pick, for this match, I'm going to pick We Chillin. Well, I'm always partial to Dark Elves anyway, but yeah, I've got a feeling that I think the We Chillin coach is C. Arnaud, and I think he's going to, he's a competent coach, and I think he's going to be able to just outmaneuver Travel Scrabble and Scooby and the gang. Yeah, I'm going to pick Wee Chillin, and I'm going to pick it as a 2-1 win for Wee Chillin. BioWare for Life versus Cheetahs and Such. BioWare for Life is a very strong team. Cheetahs and Such, mixed results with them. They are a Goblin team. I do like the Goblin teams. When they're on, they're on. When they everything's clicking into place for them. Goblin teams are an awesome sight to behold. But BioWare for Life, I know, is a very competent coach, doing well with the team. So I'm going to pick BioWare for Life to win this one, and I'm going to pick them to win it convincingly. I think Cheetahs and Such is going to have a little bit of a malfunction this week. Things aren't going to go to plan, and I think it's going to be a 3-0 win for BioWare for Life. Sticking my neck out a bit there, because it could go anyway, but I think it's going to be a 3-0 win for BioWare for Life. Dogan Lions versus the Castlevania Creeps. I think the Dogan Lions are going to win that one. I think it's going to be 2-1. Big Bad Baby Eaters versus Thunderstrike. So this is the Chorf off, and I think the Big Bad Baby Eaters are going to win over Thunderstrike, and I think it's going to be 1-0. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at the teams in 5G. So BioWare for Life, as I said, I believe they're doing fairly well in the division. Still only have the 2 vampires, and I've just seen that one of the vampires has got a second movement up. So this is the fast moving vampire team. Well, maybe not so much Commander Shepard. He's injured right now. Let's see what he has. Oh yeah, he got a movement bust. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, he's back down to 6. So Nuffle giveth, Nuffle taketh away. Or maybe in fact Nuffle taketh away, and Hero of Neverwinter, the greedy bastard, took it from Nuffle and added it to himself, because now he's movement 8. Commander Shepard is back to movement 6. Has dodge. And Dire Sick Fish, I know you're a great coach, you have a plan. Movement 8 vampire is wonderful. Yeah, you need some stats on this vampire, because he's pretty defenseless. I mean, yeah, I know he's strength 4 and armor 8, but yeah, he's gonna be he's cruising for a bruising, as my old man used to say. In terms of other development on the team, Dire Sick Fish has been keeping SPP, I would imagine, away from the thralls, and trying to put as much as he can on these vampires, his 2 vampires. So we have one Jaheira with dodge, and then we have Talia or Talizora Vaz Normandy with wrestle. We have a few other thralls that are close to leveling. Yeah, not a huge amount of development on this team. I do know that I think Dire Sick Fish had a vampire die. He does have 5 team rerolls. He has all these movement ups, which he's bestowed upon his vampires. This is an interesting team. I can see it sort of doing very well. I can also see it crashing and burning, because the more startups you take on a team over regular skills, not only are you bumping up your TV value, but you don't have those skills that you need to rely on later on. So whilst startups are nice, they're impressive and they help you do things better, you do need the skills as well to be able to block and catch and do everything. So yeah, that's BioWare for Life. Mount the Tedans. Let's take a quick look at this Orc team. So he actually has played his game 7, so he's got some level ups here. He actually hasn't taken yet. Not surprised because he just played the game. But he has Isogel Slobber with Mighty Blow and Tackle. He has another Blitzer with Blodge and Sure Hands, and then he has another Blitzer with Mighty Blow. Your Black Orcs are starved. They don't have any SPP in any levels yet. Well, they have SPP, no levels yet though. And then we have a lineman that's leveled up as well. And then we have another 2 linemen that have no SPP, and one of them is agility busted. So you might want to actually just get rid of him and get another lineman. And then we have Everpuke Pie Eater, the troll, who's sitting at 5 of 6 SPP. So you definitely want to start focus on leveling up your Black Orcs first of all. If you can get that one more casualty to get your troll leveled up, give them guard. For your Black Orcs, I would suggest block or guard. Probably block over guard. For me, that would be my choice. Although there are plenty of coaches out there that would be like, no, guard all the way. So, I don't know, use your better judgment and go one way or the other, but definitely block or guard, it would be my suggestion. For your blitzers, I would make this, for Isogel Slobber, I would probably either give him, on a normal roll, I would either give him Frenzy or Piling On. Make him a sort of a true blitzer killer. For Marble Pine Ripper, who's also very close to leveling. You can go for guard. You can go for Mighty Blow. Or you can go for a skill that will help support him in being a ball carrier. For Foggy Harbour Sunk, definitely go for guard next, or piling on. I mean, it's definitely a choice you have to make. Is do you want to go piling on first or guard next, or maybe tackle? Anything to sort of be able to ravage the opposing team and run around the pitch and wreak havoc. Your Black Orcs are definitely going to want to be your stable sort of wall of defense and this sort of slow moving wall of death that you're never going to get rid of. For your blitzers, yeah, you definitely want to develop them more as sort of your blitzing pieces that are taking pieces out and clearing room for the ball carrier, or making a beeline towards the ball carrier if they're on defense. For your linemen, you know what, dirty player would never hurt, or kick. That'd be interesting. Kick. Wee Chillin, Dark Elf team. So we have the 4 blitzers. 3 of them have Blodge. 1 of them has yet to level. He's probably brand new because he has no SPP at all. We have the Witch Elf who has taken a movement up. That's nice. Are any of these close to leveling? You have Bethran who is close to leveling. Might want to consider giving him tackle. That'd be a nice skill to take. Then we have lineman with guard, another lineman with dodge, and then 2 with wrestle. So definitely you could develop one of these into, or both of them into Bullhawks. Give 1 tackle, 1 strip ball, and then you're able to deal quite easily with opponents opposing offensive drives. You still have a team reroll. In my opinion, I think you should be sort of aiming to get, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 players on your team, so you're going to get one loner for your next match. I will probably still save your money and aim to get that third reroll ahead of getting another player for your team. A Dark Elf Loner lineman is just as good as a regular lineman, unless you happen to be saving for the Witch Elf, in which case I would probably still take the reroll over the Witch Elf, but that's your choice. Where are we? These Violent Delights, the Amazon team. Okay, coached by Road Dog. Where are we? Here we go. So we have a thrower with strong arm. Definitely developing that one as a thrower. She's 2 SPP away from her next level. Although I wouldn't be opposed to taking block, just to give her a little bit more defense and stability. If it's passing skills you're looking to go into, then obviously accurate would be a nice choice, or even sure hands to pick up the ball. Those are all good choices. You have another thrower who hasn't leveled, hasn't got any SPP. You've got of your 4 blitzers, 1 has leveled, but she's also out. Armistice. Let's have a look at what happened to Armistice. Just a miss next game. So yeah, Armistice has guard. The other blitzers, we have 2 that are close to leveling and 1 that's not close at all. Dolores. For Maeve and for Clementine, I would definitely consider tackle. Tackle is a nice skill to take. It's good on your blitzers. Strip ball would be nice, although I would probably develop this line woman at the bottom here, Teddy, as your ball hawk. Strip ball. Tackle, Frenzy would be good. Mighty Blow, obviously, would be a great choice. Guard. The blitzers have strength access, I believe. Let me just check, make sure on that. Yep, they do. They have strength access. So you've got all of those wonderful strength skills to get. I would probably develop one as a tackle, frenzy, juggernaut piece, mighty blow as well, and then another one to work in tandem with it, with mighty blow and the stand firm and grab skills. That way you can make a really awesome duo of those 2 blitzers. One to set up the surf, the other one to actually do it. So you can go over, use the grab skill to position the player so that it's perfectly set up for the surf. So that would be a good combo, good bit of synergy to have on your team. In terms of other development for the team, yeah. So as the line women develop, you're going to be giving them block or wrestle. An interesting tactic I saw a friend of mine use recently when developing an Amazon team was that he took, for those line women, he actually took wrestle on pretty much all of them and then took fend. It just makes them the most cancerous team available. Imagine hitting a line woman and then not only does she dodge out the way, but you can't follow up. And if you do manage to get both down, it's going to be a wrestle, and then she's just going to skip away next turn. Yeah, it's the worst. It's frustrating as hell, and probably lots of fun. So yeah, if you wanted to have a lot of fun and get a lot of rage quits in your division. Develop these with wrestle and with fend, maybe even sidestep. That would be insane. You'd have people, I don't know, table flipping, board flipping like crazy with that setup. Lots of fun. Anyway, moving on. So we have the farm animals. Wonderful chaos team with very little development, and that's not surprising. So you do have the dog with sure hands. That's a good choice. So this is going to be your ball handling beastman. And then we have the bull with who've got a double and got dodge. You haven't seen much development. You probably haven't had a huge amount of success so far. Got a draw, got a win. Got a win. Wow, you did actually doing okay. And then you got a loss and another loss. So you started off with 2 losses. You got some wins. So it's 2-2 and 2 for you. That's good. So I'm not quite sure why you have such little development then on your team. But yeah, you've got two level ups. This the dog is actually close to a 3rd level up, and you have a few players that are just 1 SPP away. So in your next match, just try and feed them SPP. They're all agility 3, so you can all of them are good as any other player to pass with. If you have a moment, just do a vanity pass or 2, get these players leveled up, and then you can thank me next week when you're playing a match with a few more leveled up players. That would be my biggest piece of advice for you, is you have a lot of players that are really close to leveling and they're just 1 SPP away, so just get them some SPP, get them leveled, and then start actually enjoying this team for a change. We have 3 team rerolls. We have 1 apothecary, you have 80k in the bank, a relatively low team value, so it means you might be able to get some nice inducements in your upcoming matches. But yeah, your record's not that bad. It's 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. You're probably mid-table. I haven't actually looked at the leaderboard yet, but you're probably mid-table, and all you need to do is you just need to get some levels. Know who your players who are about to level are, and just get them some SVP by hook or by crook. Okay, Rizatecas. So you're doing well. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 Sauruses leveled, and one of them's leveled twice. You've got 1 with block and mighty blow, another 2 with block, and another 1 with just mighty blow. So the other coaches in your division must be hating you right about now, Blargrag. Oh, and you also have a Croxagore with guard. Yeah, with 6 games played, the fact that you've managed to place the SPP on the players that you have in such a defined fashion, and you've also got another Saurus that's close to leveling. Yeah, this is a really strong start for the team. Guard Croxagore, 3 Saurus with block, 2 of them with mighty blow. You also have Skeeter with agility up. You're sitting pretty. There's nothing more I need to say. You've got 210k in the bank, so nobody's even managed to injure you, I would imagine. Yeah, I don't see any problems. Don't see any black clouds on your horizon by any means. Okay, moving on. Oh, where are we? Scooby and the gang. So, moving from one titan of the division to the next. So we have Scooby, the werewolf, with just 4 SPP. Did Scooby die? Or is this the original Scooby? We've played 4 matches, so it looks like you had a Scooby that died. Or you just retired them. Anyway, So Scooby the werewolf has 4 SPP. We have Shaggy at 11. That's a ghoul. He has taken guard. We have Captain Caveman with guards. We have Top Cat, the white, who's leveled. You haven't taken the level yet. We have 2 flesh golems. Fred Flintstone's got block. Yogi Bear is still searching for that first level. We have Gargamel with Dirty Player. Good choice for your zombie. And then we have Muttley Jr. who has taken block. Not as much development as I thought you'd have by now, but you maybe don't need them as much development because you're still doing very, very well. 3 rerolls, 4 fan factor. I think I don't normally say this, but I would for your whites. You've got a pretty solid squad. I would consider taking Mighty Blow. Just start getting the SPP in. You've got 2 Gar pieces already. I would get for Top Cat. I would take Mighty Blow and just have him start running in the SPP. Guards is a great skill to support the rest of your team. It's not great for that player's development. It's a very passive and giving skill. You help other players, you don't really help yourself. So just to jumpstart your development, I would give Top Cat's Mighty Blow, and then just try and farm SPP for Captain Caveman when where you can. And definitely for Scooby and Muttley, your werewolves, just give them as much love as they need to develop. Yeah, but you're doing really, really well, so there's not much for me to say. Running Goofs, I think the Running Goofs are no longer in this division. I seem to remember them not playing last week, not being on the leaderboard, and having a level last week and being at this TV value. So I'm just going to ignore them, move on. Cheetahs and such. So you have Belly Guff and Spleen Guff, or Splen Guff. Both have taken guard. We have Zach Grib with Dirty Player. He's a loony. So that's a good choice. I'm sure you're going to be getting a lot of action with him now, provided he doesn't roll a 1 and end up chainsawing himself to death. Use him as a fouling piece. You're just going to be pitch clearing. We have Gimmick with Sidestep. We have, and that's it in terms of development. We have a few players that are close to leveling. But that's just the thing with your Goblin team. You can function perfectly fine with no levels. Maybe get a level or 2 on your Fanatic, a level or 2 on your Loony, and obviously development on your Trolls never hurts. But your rank and file Goblins, they can level or not. It doesn't really matter to you. That's not having these super goblins running around the pitch isn't really an aim for you. Keeping your TV value low and being effective is an aim for you. So you're doing good, Max Adams. You have 4 team rerolls, which is great. Yeah, nothing to complain about here. Castlevania Creeps, Vapor Gecko. So we're up to 3 vampires. You just got a new vampire, which is great. You still have Alucard, who is AV busted. He has pro though, so that's nice. You have a block. Matthias has a block skill, so that's nice. But you're also seeing a lot of development on your thralls. I'm not sure if you really want that. I'm not sure if you wanted it or not, but that's what you got. But you have kick on Christopher Belmont. You have wrestle and strip ball. That's a nice skill set to have on John Morris. He's going to be a nice ball hawk for you. We have wrestle on Eric Lacard, and then we have block on Charles Vincent. Yep, that's nice. Four re-rolls, 60k in the bank, relatively decent team value. Just need to start winning some games. I think. Have you won a game yet? Yes, you did. You won your first game against Mount the Tetons. But then, since then, it's been a little bit downhill for you. So hopefully you can rebound. I play with you, Big Echo, in the Nats League, so I know that you're a really decent coach. You also came from REL 1, so definitely a big decent coach. I think you just need to rebound and re-find your form, because I know that you have it in you to really shine. Yeah. Thunderstrike. The Chaos Dwarf team. The other Chaos Dwarf team. So we have 2 Bull Centaurs, the 6 blockers, 3 Hobgoblins. That makes 11. In terms of development, we have 2 guard blockers, which is nice. We have Nolly or Noel Claydam with on 10 SPP. He's got Dirty Player, so that's good. I would consider once Gret or Gadeb levels up, I would probably get Sure Hands on one of them, and then for your Bull Centaurs, once they level up, you can either develop both of them as power pieces and blitzers roving around the field punishing the unworthy, or you can develop one like that and have one as your ball carrier scorer, in which case you might want to consider getting Sure Hands for him. But definitely, since it looks like you're a long way off leveling your Bull Centaurs, it might be faster for you to get a level on one of your goblins, and then I would give that goblin Sure Hands, so that you can be in a more effective ball carrier until you get your Bull Centaurs leveled. Temporary measure, but then Hobgoblins are temporary as well. They're not really going to live very long, so by about the time your ball carrying Hobgoblin dies, you might actually end up having a relatively decent ball carrying Bull Centaur. For your blockers, obviously you're going guard, which is great. I would go for a mix of guard and mighty blow, and then whenever you get it, claw. Even if it's straight away, always take it. Go claw. Take the double and go claw. Other than that, you're doing good. Might not be doing good in results, but your team's looking decent. Take a look. We've got some draws. We got 3 draws actually. That's not bad. 3 draws and 3 losses. So not storming up the leaderboard, but then, as I said earlier, Chaos Dwarves, they're not good starters. They're a grower, not a shower, baby. So Wolf Rammerjacks, just stick with it. You may not be feeling the love from Nuffle right now, but by the end of the season or starting next season, once you've developed your team and you've stuck with it, you will be rewarded. I promise you. Let's have a look. Big Bear Baby Eaters. So this is the other Chaos Dwarf team. Now Fizzle P is with the Big Bad Baby Eaters. He's seeing a lot more development. He's got these 2 Bull Centaurs with break tackle. One has now picked up Sure Hands. That's good. That's nice, and this is a nice ball carrying Bull Centaur. I would definitely, as soon as he levels again, I would give him block If it's a double, give him dodge. Make him a nice, safe, secure, but fast ball carrier. For the other one, I would definitely focus on making him your killer, one of your many killers, one of your many blitzers and safeties maybe. So tackle would be nice, mighty blow would be nice. Yeah, juggernaut. If you're so inclined, that's always a good skill as well. It's underrated as well, so it'll take a lot of people by surprise, or a lot of newer coaches by surprise. We have Lamppost, who is Hobgoblin, who's taken dirty player. That's good. And as I said, you've got these blockers with guard. Just need some mighty blow. Mix some guard and mighty blow, and then claw wherever you can get it, as I said before, and you're golden. As soon as that starts happening for you, you start getting that development on your blockers and on your ball centaurs. Turns from a tough team with potential to a scary team with potential coming out of the yin-yang. So, just like I was telling Wolf Rammerjacks a second ago, I'm not sure how your game history has been. Let's see, you lost, you drew, you lost, you drew, you won, and you won. Okay, so you got 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, 2 and 2. That's a decent record, but it's only going to get better the longer you stick with this team. So stick with it, get rewards, get paid. Dolgan Lions. Wow, Dolgan Lions have just been pillaged. You're meant to be going out there pillaging people. They're not meant to be pillaging you. So we've got 3 Chaos Warriors. None of them leveled yet. We've got Niggled? Yep, Niggled Beastman. Once your team stabilizes and you've got like a nice stable team, get rid of this guy. He's just a liability for you. You've got Matt Praetor, who has Mighty Blow. You've got Minotaur, who has yet to level. You've got another Beastman who's movement busted and out next week. Then you've got one with the extra arms, which is good for the pickups, although Sure Hands is probably a better skill. It's a higher chance of you being able to pick up with a reroll than it is with a +1 to pickups. Yep, you've only got 50k in the bank, and you're at 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 players for next match. 2 team rerolls. You're suffering a little bit, but you can turn this around, and you can. Chaos is obviously a slow to develop team, but give it some time. They'll develop. They'll be scary. You'll have lots of fun. Trust me. Okie dokie. Austin Knights, coached by Lobster or ex-Lobster X. I'm not sure if those X's are decoration or if they're actually part of the name. And then, so talking about teams that have been in the wars, the Austin Knights are obviously showing signs of battle scarring and weariness. So we have one blitzer who's AV busted and out next game. We have your thrower who's out next game. We have your ogre who has leveled and got guard. You've got guard on the other 2 of your other blitzers, and 0 development on this other blitzer. He probably is a new player. Let's have a look. Nope, he's just not been given any love. Whilst guard is definitely a good choice for the human team just to make you competitive, when this one levels, I would give him Mighty Blow just to help speed up his development. Otherwise he's always going to be playing catch up to the rest of your team. And if you do get your team stabilised, i.e. you have a couple of matches where you're just not being put through the ringer and ending up with multiple injuries and stat busts, I would consider getting rid of this blitzer, as soon as you can. AV7 blitzer is pretty much a death sentence. Just not a question of if, it's more a question of when. Lineman, you've got a Dauntless lineman, which could be interesting and could be useful. Maybe not. You've got a catcher who is now Blodge, which is great. And then you've got a few linemen who haven't leveled yet. And when you do level them, you can probably give kick to one and dirty player to the other two. Just so that they have a role within the team. 4 team rerolls. If you wanted to be competitive, you might want to jettison one of those team rerolls, or maybe keep on to it for now, and then once your team develops and you get a bit higher team value, drop it, and that will be an extra drop in 50k in team value, which could be useful. Yep. And then the last team, the Holy Grails. This is the new team. Abnormal. He actually played his game tonight versus the Dolgan Lions. So that was the week 7 game. Sorry, Mount the Tetons he played. Sorry, my mistake. But the Valhalla Babies aren't in this division. That might have been a friendly game or something along those lines. But the Holy Grails, you got a 2-1 win over the Cheaters and such, the Goblin team. And then you've got a 2-0 loss, which is the one where you conceded, versus the Lizard Techers. And then the game you played tonight was a 2-1 loss versus Mount the Turbans. Probably finding the difference in team quality for those teams that you're playing against who've had 6 weeks of games versus your 2 is probably a large gap to cross. But stick with it. There aren't many Bretonnian teams in REL and maybe not even in Rebel. So if you stick with it and you do relatively well with them, you're going to be a known coach just because of that novelty factor of being a Bretonnian coach. Yeah. You haven't seen any development yet on your team, and you're still doing okay. So I think once you start getting some levels on your players, the gulf between development for the teams you're playing against and yourself isn't going to be as great, and you're probably going to start winning games. Right now you're getting losses, and it's probably kind of painful because you know you're a good coach, and you're just not seeing the results you want. I would imagine it's quite a lot of it is down to that gulf in player skill. The coaches you're playing against, the teams you're playing against, has to have way more better developed players, which is allowing them to steamroller you. Anyway, stick with it. Good things will happen, I'm sure. Moving on to the leaderboard. So we have a current leader who has played 7 games. He's one of the 7 game coaches. So that's Mount the Tetons, coached by Brian 506, the Orc team. He's sitting at 5-1-1, but only a few hours ago it was at 4-1-1, so he wouldn't have been top of the tables. We still have most of these teams yet still to play a game, so we'll see how it's shaking up next episode. But next we have Lizard Techers with a game in hand, sitting at 5-0-1. Same thing for Scooby and the gang, the Necromantic team, coached by Travel Scrabble, 5-0-1. When we have the Amazon team, These Violent Delights, coached by Road Dog, sitting at 4-2-0, which is nice. That's very respectable score results. Then we have BioWare for Life, coached by Dire Sickfish, 4-1-1. We Chillin', the Dark Elf team, 3 wins, 3 draws. no losses, so undefeated team. That's nice. Then we have the farm animals sitting at 2-2-2. Same thing for the big bad baby eaters, the Chaos Dwarf team, coached by Fizzle P, 2-2-2. Despite joining the league or the division late, the Holy Grails are doing pretty well. They have 1 win and 1 draw. Might have inherited one of those. And then we have 5 losses, which they definitely inherited. Then we have the Vapor Geckos Castlevania Creeps sitting at 1-1-4. Thunderstrike is sitting at 3 draws, 3 losses. The Austin Knights has a win, but then has 5 losses, unfortunately. Jesus and Such, one of the only, maybe one of the few stunty teams in this division. The Goblin team, coached by Max Adams, is sitting at a respectable for Goblins, 2 draws and 4 losses. Although I'm sure he would dearly love to see a win there. And then we have at the bottom of the table we have the Chaos team, the Dolgan Lions, sitting at 2 draws and 4 losses. So that pretty much covers it for Divisions 5F and 5G. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. As I said, please leave me some comments on YouTube, message me on Discord or on Reddit. Let me know what you think of the show, things that could be improved, constructive feedback, not constructive feedback, I don't care. Just send it in to me, send me in your thoughts, and maybe I'll incorporate some of the things you're suggesting into the next episode. Definitely like to evolve this show, add some new fun elements, but what is added and what's taken out is going to be reliant purely on you guys. You suggest it, I probably will do it. I'd love to make this a show that you want to watch. I'd love to see your comments, and look forward to the next episode.